Ahoy, this is Zdenka. How to use HOHEM iSteady M6 smartphone gimbal. This is a complete guide for beginners. Let's go through everything. Balancing, gimbal modes, filming modes, how to use Hohem Joy app, how to film in manual mode, time lapses, hyperlapses, and how to use HRT-03 Remote with this gimbal. Many examples will be shown in this video. Timestamps are included so you can find the sections you're looking for faster. You might want to bookmark this video for the future. Once you pull out your new gimbal, fully charge it with the included USB-C charging cable and USB adapter, which is not included. As it is charging, install the Hohem Joy app on your phone. Once all bars are showing on the gimbal's display, it is fully charged. If you will be using the gimbal as a power bank to charge your smartphone with it when the gimbal is off, use one of the provided cables depending on whether you have an Android or iPhone. Connect it to your phone and to this port on the gimbal. To enable charging, press the power button once. I'm sure you already fully charged your gimbal and now you are ready to use it. Right now the gimbal is in locked position. To unlock it, have the display face you. Move the tilt motor to the right. To install the phone for horizontal filming, turn the clamp until it clicks, insert the phone. Another important step is to unlock the pan motor. The log is on the other side, just press down. Before you turn on the gimbal, you need to balance the gimbal properly. If the right side is going down, you need to open the clamp and move the arm to the right. Once it is perfectly straight, close the clamp. If you will be using an AI sensor, install it and also balance the phone clamp. Just slide the center of the clamp until it is perfectly leveled. You would do the same thing if you weren't using the AI sensor. Now you can long press the power button to turn it on. If you want to put the gimbal into standby mode, press power button 2 times. If you will be balancing the gimbal for vertical filming, you will follow the same steps except you will keep the phone balanced centrally in the phone clamp. To pair the gimbal, make sure Bluetooth is enabled. Open Hohem Joy and follow pairing instructions. It is very straightforward. If you film most of the time in horizontal mode, but want to take a quick shot in vertical mode, you will simply rotate the gimbal sideways and then hold it like a flashlight. In this mode, you can move the camera only to the sides and you are not going to get POV mode. It is strictly for a quick portrait mode shot. Let's move to the buttons. The first one is M button. If you press 1 time, you will switch between different gimbal modes. Pan follow mode. Here the tilt motor is locked, so when you move the gimbal to the sides, it will follow. Pan tilt follow mode follows movements to the sides and up and down. Lock mode will hold the frame in the same position. The motors are locked. And POV mode has all motors unlocked, including roll motor. If you want to film in the sports mode, where the motors react very fast to capture fast action, just press and hold the trigger in the back. There is one more mode called Inception mode. You will get to that one by pressing the M button 3 times. The gimbal will go into flashlight position and it will start automatically spinning. For those wondering, you cannot change direction and you cannot change speed. It is programmed this way. All the modes are clearly displayed on the screen. If you want to learn when to use each mode, I have a very detailed video on that. I'm gonna link it below in the video description. That video was filmed with a different gimbal. However, all those gimbals have very much the same modes, so that video applies to every gimbal. Let's stay with the M button a bit longer. If you find that the horizon is a bit off or the gimbal is drifting a bit, you can enable auto calibration. Place the gimbal on a flat surface and press the M button 5 times to enable this. You will hear a beep once it is finished. If you purchased a remote HRT-03, which is sold separately, I'll link it below, you will pair it with the gimbal by pressing the M button 7 times. Make sure the remote is on before you do that. On the other hand, if you want to unpair the remote, if you want to clear the settings, press the M button 9 times. What can you control with this remote? You can move the gimbal left, right, up and down with these arrows. If you press the bottom left button 1 time, you can take a photo or start and stop recording. This works in native camera app as well, not only in Hohem Joy app. The rest of the functions will work only in the Hohem Joy app. If you press the same button 2 times, you will switch between photo and video mode. And if you press the button 3 times, you will switch between front and rear camera. Note that you cannot switch between front and rear cameras while you are recording. The right button will recenter the gimbal if you press 2 times. And if you press 3 times, you will enable Inception mode. To get out of the Inception mode, press the button 2 times. There is an M button in the middle, but it's not programmed with this gimbal. You cannot change modes with this remote. Perhaps they will enable it down the road. Let's go back to buttons on the gimbal. Joystick works as a typical joystick. You will rotate the gimbal left, right, up and down. You can also change the up and down tilt movement manually by moving it with your hand. Hold it for 2 seconds and let go. Now the gimbal holds in the position. This works again only for up and down movement, not left and right. Let's look at the trigger in the back. As I mentioned earlier, if you press and hold, you will be in sports mode. If you double press, you will recenter the gimbal. If you press 3 times, you will turn the gimbal 180 degrees. Here you can film yourself with a standard camera. If you want to film yourself with an ultra-wide angle lens, you will need to move the motor to the side by pressing the trigger 4 times. Now the motor is out of the way. It's not going to be in the shot. If you want to go back to normal filming, just press 3 times to spin the gimbal back 180 degrees. If you won't be filming with an ultra-wide angle lens anymore, press the trigger 4 times to move the motor to the back again. This way, you have a clear view on the screen once again. If you want to quickly enter lock mode on the gimbal without changing it with the M button, press trigger 2 times and hold. It won't be displayed on the screen, but you will be in lock mode. Once you release, you will be back to the mode you had previously. If you press the shutter button, you will take a photo or start and stop recording. This works also in native camera app. The rest of the functions will only work in the Hohem Joy app, so this is where I will show it. If you have pressed the shutter button, you will focus, it will be center weight. If you press the shutter button 2 times, you will switch between photo and video mode, and if you press 3 times, you will switch between front and rear camera. Again, you can switch the cameras only before you start recording. Around the shutter button is zoom. If you move it up and down, you will zoom in and out. Control wheel is next. That one has many functions. If you rotate the wheel, you will be controlling focus. You can also see that the control wheel has focus mode enabled on the display. That only works in the Hohem Joy app, so you can turn to select the focus you want. If you want to go back to automatic focus, just tap with your finger on the screen or press the shutter button halfway. If you press the button in the center 2 times, you will switch from focus to roll movement. Now if you rotate the wheel, you can see the roll movement happening. Once you are done, just press trigger 2 times to recenter the gimbal. This control wheel has more functions, which I will explain shortly. Now it's time to look at the AI sensor with the light. You can install it in both directions, filming with rear cameras or in selfie mode. Let's turn it on. The red light will be on and the light will flash. How do you enable tracking so you can film in any app of your choice? Make sure you are fairly close to the gimbal, 0.5 to 1.5 meters, and show this OK sign. The light will be green and the gimbal will start tracking you. To stop tracking, show the palm sign and the light will go red. By default, when the gimbal is tracking you, you will be in the center of the frame. You can reframe the shot by showing this L sign with both hands. The green light will start blinking. Now you can position yourself to get the framing you want and show the L sign again. The light will stop blinking, and now the gimbal is tracking you in the new position. Let's talk about the fill light, and this is when I return to the control wheel. Press and hold the control wheel center button to turn on the light. CCT mode is on. If you turn the control wheel, you will control brightness. You can see the percentage on a display. Below is the color temperature. To be able to change that, press the control wheel button one time. Now you can select what color temperature you want by rotating the control wheel. If you want to have an RGB light, press control wheel button 3 times. Now you can select any color you want. If you want to control brightness, press the button 1 time. For those wondering, when you have the light on, you can still control focus and roll. Just press 2 times to get to focus. If you need to go back to control the light, press 3 times. I'm going to long press the button to turn off the light. Last 2 buttons we have here are A/B motion time-lapse buttons for filming time-lapses in any app. A button is at the top, B button is at the bottom. I'm going to frame the first shot where I want the time-lapse to start. I will long press the A button and hear a beep. Now it has been confirmed. Now I'm going to select where I want the time-lapse to end. Let's frame the shot. Long press the B button, it will beep, and now it has been confirmed. If you press A button, it will go to first position. If you press B button, it will go to second position. If I had A position selected, I would double press the B button to start the movement. If I had B position selected, I would double press the A button to film the movement in the opposite direction. By default, the movement is 1 minute long. You can change the length in the Hohem Joy app settings. I will show you that once we go through the app. At the top left corner, you will see Bluetooth status, and next to it, you can see what gimbal mode you have selected. Obviously, you will see it way bigger on the gimbal's display. The arrow will take you to the Hohem Joy homepage, where you can watch tutorials, access your album, and your account. Let's go back. Next icon is for switching between rear and front camera. Video resolution and frame rates are next. I am using iPhone 14 Pro, so these are all options I get. If you have an Android phone, you will most likely get less options. It will vary depending on what Android phone you have. Let's press the tracking icon. Here you can track a person or object without using an AI sensor. If you will be tracking a person, it will track the face specifically, so the person cannot turn away. It will be enabled automatically once you select face tracking. Object tracking is below. Here you need to swipe across to select the object you want to track. To turn off tracking, press the bottom icon. Let's hit the settings icon. The first page is offering camera parameters settings. You can choose the lens you want to film with. You can zoom with each lens. The zoom will be purely digital. Photo size is next. Let me switch from video to photo mode. Here you can select the aspect ratio you need. Choices are 1:1, 4:3, and 16:9. Below is a mirror selfie. This only works in photo mode, not video. Let me show you what it does. This is a photo with a mirror selfie off. This is a photo with a mirror selfie on. It basically switches the sides. I'll keep it off. Let's go back to video mode and look at the next setting, which are grid lines. Here you have choices between cross, diagonal, and grid. This will certainly help you with composition. By the way, if you need to learn about framing and composition, I have a video on that as well. I'll link it below. But for now, I will select none, so the screen is not cluttered and you can easily see what I will be showing you. Centered outer shoot is next. What it means in the photo taking mode, when the tracking is started and the tracking target is centered, It will count down and take photo automatically. If you turn it off, the function will be turned off. Gesture control settings are next. First of all, you will enable it by pressing the hand icon on the right. Here in the settings, you can choose what the gesture will do. The choices are follow and shoot, or shoot only without following, or follow only. Let me show you how it works. I will enable the hand icon and show the V sign with my hand. Now the gimbal is tracking me and it will start recording. To stop recording and tracking, just show the stop sign. Zoom speed controls are below. Here you can select how fast or slow zoom you want. Below you can enable timer. The choices are 3 and 5 seconds. Lastly, you can enable professional mode. Here you can select ISO, shutter speed, and white balance. If you need to learn about frame rates, filming in manual mode in general, I also have a video on that, so I'll link it below. Let's go to the gimbal parameter settings page. First one will let you select gimbal mode. They also included explanations of what each mode does. Follow speed is next. General speed is selected by default. If you need slow follow speed, the option is here, or if you need the follow fast movement, you can select medium. Motor response setting is next. Medium is set by default, and that one is meant for most of the smartphones. If you have a smartphone with abnormal dimensions, weight, and back cover shapes, you would select low motor response. High is for high sensitivity of the motor with enhanced gimbal stabilization performance. There is a caution written that some of the types of smartphones might vibrate, so if that happens, switch to medium or low. AB motion duration setting is next. Here is where you can switch from default 1 minute of motion all the way to 60 minutes. Left and right joystick reverse will let you switch the movement. If you switch that, it will go to the other way if you press left or right. Select whatever feels more natural to you. I will have it enabled. You can change the speed of left and right joystick movement. Choices are low, medium, and high. If you find that your horizon is not straight and need to adjust it manually, you can do it here in roll adjustment. Auto calibration is below, restore settings, and a factory reset on AI vision sensor. Let's move to the right side. At the top, you can see gimbal and smartphone battery levels. On the right, you can see the beauty mode icon, which will not work in 4K or 60 frames per second. Select 1080p to be able to enable this feature mode. Besides beauty mode, there are also filters available at the bottom. Gesture mode is below, record button, and access to your gallery. Let's go further right. Moment will give you many fun stories. Raindrop control, facing the sea, travel, lucky, and dynamic. With these stories, just record clips and it will all automatically edit for you. Smart Dolly Zoom. Here you select at the top if you want to move in or move out. Select the object by dragging with your fingers across, hit record. It will give you a countdown and then follow the arrows for the movement. Dolly Zoom is a bit different. You can customize the zoom by dragging the slider, and you can also select time. Choices are 5, 10, and 15 seconds. Smart Motion Time-Lapse will let you choose a panning angle range all the way to 180 degrees. You can also choose preferred recording duration. The choices are 1 minute, 5, 15, and 30. Video duration is set by default. It is 15 seconds. Panorama video will automatically record 360 degrees panorama video and add music there. Clone Me is one big photo where you can see yourself several times. Just select the number of clones you want. Minimum is 3, maximum is 7, hit record. Position yourself always in the center of the frame. Just follow the movement of the gimbal. Fantastic Rotation has pre-programmed move. The same goes with Inception. Back to past will create 80s style footage. And lastly, night rain will give you a very cool rain effect. Let's leave this big moment section and explore the rest. Video is next. Photo mode is next. Here I want to point out that you can also enable flash here. Panorama is next. On the right, you can select what type of panorama you want to capture. The choices are 3x3, 180, 240, and 380 degrees. Time-lapse will let you select shutter speed and time. You will be able to see video duration at the bottom once you make your choices. You can also select up to 5 spots of frames to create a motion time-lapse. Lastly, slow motion is the last mode. On the left you can choose if you want to film in 720p or 1080p in 120 or 240 frames per second. I hope this video helped you to get familiar with this gimbal. Please give it a thumbs up if it did, and don't forget to subscribe for more filming tutorials. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ahoj!